Great Debaters Contest is powered by Blaze, by Safaricom, the Youth Network.
Coming to you from Eldoret, this is the Great Debaters Contest, and I am Austin Yumbok. Our motion today is the use of contraceptives is the only proper way to prevent teenage pregnancies. We have Moi Girls Eldoret going against Singore Girls, and we anticipate an explosive debate. Proposer number 1, you have 3 minutes.
My name is Velvin Samkul, but I don't like that name. You can call me a typical teenager. I represent Moi Girls High School, and if you are like me, I welcome you to embark on this intellectual journey with me. So, what do we have on our plate today? That the use of contraceptives is the only proper way of preventing teenage pregnancies. So, let's go through the content words here. Contraceptives, only, proper, and preventing teenage pregnancies. So with this, we already agree that our teenagers are sexually active. Our teenagers are already getting pregnant, and it's at a rate that we want to do something about it. So, what is contraceptives? I would define contraceptives as a process, a device, or a drug that is used to prevent pregnancies. Yeah. So, contraceptives have a social aspect, a political aspect, a medical aspect, and also a moral aspect. Political aspect, you don't believe me? Think about last week. Honorable John Pombe Magufuli banned any student who gets pregnant in school from ever going back to school. A lot of people thought that was really harsh, but no. I looked at it from an angle that says our teenagers are getting pregnant, so we have to do something about it. They're already getting sexually active. We can't do anything about that, but you can do something about pregnancy. So what about this student who is under the law that pregnancy, once she gets pregnant, she cannot go back to school? There is an answer, and that is contraceptives. So let me give you examples of contraceptives. The most common ones are condoms, contraceptive films, implants, sponges, suppositories, birth control pills, cervical caps, and vasectomy. So it has been proven that contraceptives have helped 82% of women to prevent pregnancies. If you don't think this is amazing, if you don't think this is the proper way of preventing pregnancies, then you're not with me, and you are definitely not thinking at it with the voice of reason, like me. And teenagers like to be called reasonable. They like to think they have it in their hands. They know what they're thinking, so you're thinking with me. We have NGOs that are giving free contraceptives all over the country, and the fact that they're giving contraceptives, and not even something with a lot of urgency like sanitary pads, suggests that contraceptives are the only proper way of preventing teenage pregnancies. Thank you so much.
Proposer number 1, you have 3 minutes.
Sex, sex, sex. A trending topic amongst teenagers, but how is safe sex obtained? Well, it's okay, I don't deny that when one wants to explore the sexual emotions, you have to think of safe sex, but a contraceptive safe? I am Nora Gerono, your first opposer from Singore Girls. And our motion today is contraceptives is the only proper way to prevent teenage pregnancy. Do you believe that contraceptives are safe? Well, you all know that contraceptives come along with health effects. And what the first proposers say that there's an initiative by the NGOs to introduce contraceptives to teenagers. It's not that it's all teenagers, but those who are married. We all know that there's some married teenagers in Turkana. So they need to have safe sex. It's okay, but it has health effects. We talk of a vision of 2030, and yet we want to engage in sex and yet use harmful things so that we can accomplish the safe sex we all talk about. The health effects that I'm talking about is blood pressure. You picture yourself, you're a teenager and you are with blood pressure. How are you supposed to design your future? How is it? Is it logic? We also talk of blood cancer. If we all start practicing sex and using contraceptives, by the time we are 40, we are all dead. Where is Vision 20 without us? Are we leaders? Leaders. We are the future leaders, and yet we will not be present because we just used contraceptives as a way to prevent ourselves from getting pregnant. You know, even when you talked about President Magufuli, he's honorable, saying that girls who are pregnant or have given birth should not go back to school. Yes, they got pregnant. And you want to tell me they did not have the knowledge of contraceptives. They have the knowledge of contraceptives, but still they got pregnant. So what are you telling me? Are you telling me that they did not know the knowledge of contraceptives and by accident they got pregnant? It is because it had something happened in between, and you cannot also tell me that they didn't use contraceptives because you were not there to see if they did not use contraceptives. So they got pregnant and now they're not in school. You see, is that the safest way to prevent pregnancies among teenagers? Is that? You also talk about, it's not only condoms that are there are coils, other things also. They have effects. When you implanted those things while you're still young, you're given a chance not to get pregnant for 7 years. You know, in fact, we should not even be talking about sex. Sex for who? For teenagers. You should be concentrating right now and thinking about your future instead of acting in such activities. It's so disappointing. In fact, I'm disappointed. You know, another thing we talk about, cramps, heavy flow and stuff. Girls are undergoing some of these pains because they just used, they were not patient. And that, I rest my case.
Now it's time for rebuttals. May we have the second proposer take the stage. You have 3 minutes.
Marura Beverlin, representing Moy Girls High School, Eldoret. My opponent has just said that abstinence is a better way of preventing early teenage pregnancies. Well, my research on www.knowyourhealth.com says that choosing not to have sex, which is abstinence, is a form of contraception. Contraception is the act of using contraceptives. And what is contraceptives? As my friend Velvin just said, it is a drug, a process to prevent pregnancy. This abstinence as a way of contraceptives, it is free and available to everyone. It is a contraceptive, yes. It is free and available to each and every person. I cannot pay a person to restrict himself or herself to go have sex. It is free for you. You can choose not to have it. Again, it is also efficient because it will prevent you from getting other diseases. Abstinence will also make you feel good as a girl. A friend of mine once told me that men give respect to their wives in future. They give respect to their wives who are pure. When you abstain right now, in the future, you will feel good about yourself because you kept yourself pure. Contraceptives being the only proper way to prevent teenage pregnancy it is good because it controls population. Among the millennium goals of this world, it is to curb a large number of growth of population. For example, Kenya is not reducing in size, but if we control this teenage pregnancy using contraceptives, the population will not increase, and then we will have achieved one of the Millennium Goals to control the population. Again, prevention is better than cure. Use of contraceptives to prevent teenage pregnancies is better. You won't tell me that as a girl, when you get pregnant maybe, because you did not use contraceptives, you will stay in class, or you will feel that isolation from other people. You'll be stigmatized because you have that guilt and conscience that I was given this option of contraceptives but did not follow it. So contraceptive is the only and proper way to prevent teenage pregnancies. Thank you.
Opposer number 2, you have 3 minutes for your rebuttal.
You cannot stand on the heated ice of events, because out of every crooked timber of humanity, a straight human hair strand was produced. Now, we're becoming a slaves of our own selves by litigizing contraceptives as the only way of preventing teenage pregnancies. A teenager is not supposed to be involved in sexual activity at this time. And coming up with contraceptives to prevent teenage pregnancy, won't just help. Because if we're planning to achieve a big goal, say Vision 2030, time now should not be wasted in mere things such as preventing teenage pregnancies. It should be involved in the nation building. That is just my first point. And this is just an indication of moral decadence, because if, say, a young person that is a teenager is involved in the sexual activity and then that girl becomes pregnant, that girl is just spoiled, or as you can say, let's use the word spoiled. That is because that teenager at that age becoming pregnant is not right. That is, you're on the wrong side of life. Contraceptives cannot be used by people who have some certain medical defects. It could have more effects on them, and it could change their lifestyles. We can say that most of these contraceptives are made from hormones with irreversible effects. These effects may be dangerous, such as having health effects among them, and it can just change their lifestyles, as in, that is it. These effects, they may last for around 5 to 10 years, and before those 5 to 10 years, before the effects come out, time will have been lost and people will still be moving on. Now, a recent French study that was taken in 2007 to 2010 indicated that over 80% of the French citizens were against use of contraceptives to prevent teenage pregnancies. If a first world country such as like France can be against use of contraceptives, why is it that we, a third world country, will want to try something else? If the first world country who are already up there are not for it, then with what reasons are we going to use it there? Now, it is wise to educate those teenagers not to get involved in sexual activity, so that they can. So it is wise to educate them not to get involved in sexual activity, rather than to come, so that they're not going to get involved and they won't be pregnant, rather than allowing them to get involved, because we're going to say they're contraceptives. After all, what is going to happen to them? What is going to happen? These contraceptives, and nothing much is going to take place in them. Not all contraceptives are accessible to people. We have people who are still suffering, who do not even know the meaning of contraceptives. So if you say it is accessible to everyone, what of those people who are in rural areas? Pleasure. Mercy Samoy.
Thank you very much for your questions. The proposers have been asked, since they claim that NGOs have provided free sanitary pads and contraceptives, is that the only way to curb these teenage pregnancies? And the opposers have also been asked that, do they advocate for extreme measures such as abortion, since they're against contraceptives? The third proposer, you have 3 minutes to answer the questions.
I'd love to answer that question. First of all, my fellow proposer did not say sanitary towels are being offered. She said contraceptives are offered more. Why? It's an arising issue. Many of our teenagers are being pregnant, so we need to find a way to help them. And we're saying contraceptives are the only proper. We have other ways. We didn't say that they can stop pregnancy, did we? We didn't say. We just want a proper way, a better way. My name is Were Patricia Tatu from Moi Girls High School, Eldoret. Birth control pills, that's one of the methods my fellow proposer said. Girls, menstrual cycle pain, and I believe the ladies can identify with me. It is so hard. When a teacher is in class and you're in pain, it is hard. Let me give you an advantage. Birth control pills reduce the pain by over 90%, which means you will concentrate in physics. And I believe you all want good grades anyway. Sinda? Sinda is actually a Kiswahili term, meaning, is that right? And then it reduces the risk of cancer of the ovaries and endometrial cancer. We all don't want to have cancer. Who wants to have cancer? Nobody. And then, girls, I think you'll also identify with me in this. Acne. Most of us do not want to have acne on our faces. We all want to be flawless and pretty. Birth control pills reduce the risk of having acne by 2/3. Contraceptive film. Those people in the rural areas, the NGOs are actually helping us by giving us contraceptives. We all believe NGOs are really helping us in our country. Red Cross is an NGO organization, and it has helped us to provide food for our nation. So I don't think they'll give us something that will harm us. They're already providing food, and right now we know in Kenya, food is actually very scarce. So they won't give us anything that will harm us. And they're opting for contraceptives. It's not messy. And then 15 to 19% of our teenagers, 82% who use contraceptive films, do not get pregnant. Why would you go for the 18%? 18%, it's just an 18% when you have a whole 82% to look for. And then the contraceptive sponge is actually very inexpensive. I believe anyone in the rural area can actually acquire it. Anyone. So no matter whether you're in the urban area or the rural area, anyone can acquire it. And then, with just the touch of a button, we have moved 1,000 years from the loincloth to a 3-piece suit. I do not understand why we want to make contraceptives look bad when everyone is changing.
Opposer number 3, you have 3 minutes to answer your question.
When they say life is weird, what we don't know that as human beings make life more weird. From Elgeyo Marakwet County, Charlotte Ruto Wairimu from Singore Girls. Okay, Georgina Nanjala, I'd like to answer your question. Do you have other ways? Sincerely, teenagers, choose between sex and education. Which one do you want? Someone important said, you cannot serve 2 masters at a time. You want to have sex or you want to study? People, even if we are in the 21st century, where is our tradition? Where are our moral values? You still want an athlete who has just come down from Europe and we go as Kenyans to receive by traditional songs. Yes, you're telling us contraceptives. What do you mean by contraceptives? We use contraceptives. Yes, you're telling us they curb pregnancy or what? During our forefathers, our mother, if your mom gets pregnant right now, he or she has a responsibility towards the daughter to tell the daughter you're not supposed to get pregnant. You're not supposed to do this because that's what your mother did. And if you find out from research, go to prison, go to where women prisons are and ask. They'll tell you. The reason why I got pregnant at this such age was my mother never told me the right morals and values. You see? So these people are regretting and they hope their daughters will not pass through the same life. Then you come and tell me contraceptive. You imagine my mom wakes up in the morning and tells me, Mommy, let's go to the doctor. They need to input something on you. For real, as for me as a daughter. What could my mom thought before taking me to that doctor? People, girls, you are all girls. We are all women in the next future. Prevention is better than cure. You want to kill me. Tomorrow I use contraceptives today night. Then tomorrow morning, what do you mean? Life after 10 years, I don't get a child of my own because I get it's called what? These things, blood. You start hemorrhaging because you'll be having those effects. Those are the effects of contraceptives. You say your life, you want to become beautiful. Who said by having sex and using contraceptives you become beautiful? You're beautiful the way you are. Finish school, choose sex. By the way, let me tell you, what are the use of peer counseling? What are the use of peer counseling in school? Because right now, in book 3, form 3, we are taught that we should not have sex. So when you come and tell me, have sex, then use contraceptives, then you're deceiving me. I finished school, I go to others. By the way, let me inform you. For us teenagers who have rushed to go to, I don't know where, let me tell you. Recently, these peer counselors, you're saying that teenagers have an urge for sex or whatever. The age that now, it's not for married people like Christianity says. Nowadays it's 21 years, for real. I expect you by 21 years to be a grown-up. You know the reason why they said that to be 21 years? So people, let's mature. We are teenagers. Don't be deceived. Imagine a chemist. I'm going to the chemist and, excuse, P2. What will that person think? And you're telling me contraceptives. Thank you.
Proposition, you have 1 minute to make your final submission.
Yet again, let me remind you that abstinence is indeed an example of contraceptives. So I believe we are actually in an agreement, all of us. Exactly, right? Yeah. So I'm very disappointed in the fact that contraceptives have been branded this unfair image of being a drug. It's not a bad drug. It's a good thing. And the minute we understand, I mean, come on, let's look at things like the outside world. A good example is that the Obama Bombers organization withdrew its contribution to supporting Kenya due to the way Kenya did not accept LGBT and abortion. So what is LGBT? The lesbians, gays, bisexuals, and transgenders. It's a fact that the society is now accepting the things that were immoral, accepting the things that were wrong under the name of freedom of expression and human rights. So we can accept it. We can accept contraceptives because people are sexually active. If you can't beat them, join them, accept, and move on. Thank you.
Opposition, you have 1 minute to make your final submission.
I can really stamp my feet down and tell you one thing. I've seen advertisements for condoms, I've seen for family planning, but I've never seen one for abstinence. So I tell you, abstinence is not part of contraceptives. Let me now tell you, it's very evident. What is abstinence? Staying away from something. Do you need to take pills for you to abstain? Do you need? It's just about your values, our tradition, our moral cultures at Western values. What do you mean by Western values? So people are influencing you and telling you abstinence. And I stamp my feet and tell you, I refuse. Abstinence is not part of contraceptives or something. Birth pills. You're telling me about birth pills. So I have sex so that I can get pregnant and have those birth pills. Abortion. You people, let's take for example, my mother. My mother got pregnant at 14 years or something. That's still a teenager. My mother got pregnant at 14 years. Then I'm the daughter. Do you think that mom will come and tell me, Charlotte, let's go to the doctor. You need contraceptives. Then my mom will tell me, Charlotte, sit down. Let me tell you, this is how my life was. What are the use of your parents? Busy lives. Let me tell you something. There's one thing. Contraceptives should not be legalized. Choose between education and sex. Which one do you want?
Moi girls, let's start with Velvin. Velvin, I liked your way of introduction. It was quite new, and who doesn't like a breath of fresh air? The way you introduced. You greeted us and all that. That was quite good, and you're a good debater also. Let's go to the second debater from Moi Girls, that is Mairura. Mairura, also a good way of introduction. That was new from what you're used to. The topic was well discussed, but there was actually this kind of conversational tone. Maybe next time, vary. When you vary, you become more appealing to your listeners, and that makes you score better in a debate. We go to Tatu. Tatu, you need also to vary your tone so that you are more convincing. There was this kind of flat tone all across, but actually it was a fair debate.
To Singore, Nora, I mean, you dwelt so much on how unsafe these contraceptives are, which is a good stand for your team. Nonetheless, is there any research done? That's the question. So you want to give your facts based on that, okay? You don't want to just generalize and say they're unsafe, they're unsafe. However, there was also a bit of audience engagement, which was commendable. That was a good start for your team. Massey, as well, facts on submission. As my colleague has put it across, when you want to speak, you want to hear, you don't want to struggle doing that. And that's something that you can practice by ensuring that at least you can say everything that you're speaking. Charlotte, that was commendable. Good reasoning. I felt like it was a good monthly lecture, and which was very good as well, because I felt like I was sitting down listening to you. But however, to you as a team, did you have a stand? If not contraceptives, then what? And I think you should have stood as one angle and say maybe abstinence. Of course, they were trying to cross-examine that, but stand on one ground and say this is what you're advocating for. Don't just tell us the negatives, but say what should be the alternative. All the best to both of you. Let's wait for the results.
The moment we've all been waiting for. Moi Girls Eldoret, the judges awarded you 65%. Please give them a round of applause. Singore School, the judges awarded you 67%. You're our winners for the debate. Well done to the two teams on stage. We'd also like to thank you, our studio audience, and our viewers back home. Keep the conversation going. GDC for SDGs. A big thank you to our sponsor, Safaricom. I have been your host, Austin Yumbok. Catch you next time.
The Great Debaters Contest is powered by Blaze, by Safaricom, the Youth Network.